At the very mention of Porsche RS, you can feel your heart racing a bit faster because we all know that in the racing world, racing sport acronym means pure performance. But what about the IT world, and to be more specific, what does it mean for notebooks? Acer has once again teamed up with Porsche Design Studio to create a new ultrabook model, and the result is Acer Book RS. And right from the start, it is clear that this Acer model is different from anything we've seen so far. The large Porsche design logo is present across the entire width of the box, only builds up the anticipation, while the rich packaging definitely raises expectation, with the included mouse case and a variety of accessories like a stylized mouse pad, a notebook case, an optical wireless mouse with an unusual design, and of course, the star of the show itself, Acer Book RS. At the very first glance, the design of the laptop looks fairly classic, but after a brief introduction, it is clear that this is a typical product of German industrial design. Clear lines, straight angles, yet somehow it still differentiates itself from the rest of the notebooks. The reason why is the case made of magnesium alloy that gives out this amazing feeling. Compared to the aluminum textures, brushed surfaces, and all other stuff we see, this chassis is in a completely different level, being incredibly thin and firm with a great feeling under your fingertips. In regards to the overall design, Porsche Book RS is leaving other laptops behind in the dust, and that includes even the MacBook models. Although it doesn't look like an ultrabook with a 16mm profile at all, it weighs only 1.2 kilograms, most of which is the screen. This is the reason why it's convenient for handling while still being light enough. And the screen cover is a special story, made of light metal frame with a Porsche design logo on the rim, while the entire surface is covered in carbon fiber texture. So for those who like details seen on sport cars, the association is unambiguous and they will certainly crave this notebook. In order for the rest of the features to follow the exclusive design, the laptop comes with a 14-inch screen. The IPS panel displays 1920 by 1080 pixels, and what we especially liked on this model is the absence of the ugly thick bottom bezel, since the screen takes up to 90% of the surface of the notebook's cover. Of course, it is touch sensitive and uses Corning Gorilla protective glass, so the screen surface was glossy, which was given the name Cinis Crystal to sound nicer. The brightness is 340 nits, and with a complete coverage of the sRGB color gamut guarantees a clear image. It is not the best screen we've seen, but certainly among the better ones. The colors are beautiful, natural, and with a good contrast. The image is clear and sharp, so the text looks good even 100% scaling. Near the top of the screen is a 720p webcam and a pair of microphones. The screen hinges looks robust and durable, and a stylized shaft extends between them, which, when a screen is placed in a 90-degree angle, actually represents the stand on which the device rests on the surface. Now descending towards the base, the metallic gray surface with straight lines is almost aesthetically clean with any perforations, only a bare magnesium surface, which has a very pleasant texture and is very durable, plus it collects almost no fingerprint marks. It all looks nice, simple, clean, without unnecessary details, and very practical, and yet still somehow looks high-tech. Check-like keys stick out from the metal base with a typical membrane suspension with a slightly harder tactile feel. It leaves a better feeling under the fingers than other Acer models and is certainly among the better keyboards in the 14-inch category. The touchpad zone is standard sized and with a different surface from the rest of the base. Somehow the feeling is more metallic, but the fingertips still slide nicely as you move the cursor to the desired position. The main impression while working and reviewing this laptop is its style is simple, straightforward, and definitely high quality. Another novelty is the fact that this is the first Acer notebook based on the 11th generation Intel Core processor, codenamed Tiger Lake, this time with the U suffix, ultra-economical version of the Core i7-1165G7 model. This processor, unlike the desktop model, is made in the 10nm SuperFin process, has 4 physical Willow Cove microarchitecture cores, and executes 8 threads simultaneously. It has 12 MB of L3 cache and runs a base clock of 2.8 GHz, while the maximum turbo value of individual cores is 4.7 GHz. The new processor also receives support for faster RAM modules, and in our case, it works with low-power DDR4X memory and at effective 4267 MHz. Interestingly, due to this internal acceleration, programs like CPU-Z detect them as quad-channel RAM, although the memory controller operates exclusively in dual-channel mode. It is as if internally operating at 4 times the base frequency, not twice as high, so the transfer results are better. The memory delivers as much as 51.5 GB of data per second, more even than the current desktop versions. Plus, it runs at a lower voltage of only 1.1 volts, and the memory chip are soldered to the printed circuit board. The laptop definitely does not take the classic LPDDR4 SODIMMs, so you must decide at the point of purchase whether you want 8 or 16 GB of system memory. Integrated graphics also received an improvement. The new processor features an Intel Iris Xe graphics core with 96 executable units and an operating frequency of 1.3 GHz. It supports all advanced technologies of the previous generation, most importantly quick-sync video acceleration, which speeds up hardware encoding and decoding of the most popular H.264 and H.265 formats, with an added support for hardware decoding of the increasingly popular AV1 format. The second part of the graphics subsystem consists of a discrete graphics processor, the GeForce MX 350 based on the Pascal architecture with 640 CUDA units, enhanced with 2 GB of dedicated GDDR5 memory. When it comes to data storage, a 1TB M.2 PCIe 4 SSD was used in this case, with a transfer rate of 2.4 GB per second while reading data. Internet connection is provided via 6th generation Intel AX201 Wi-Fi adapter with the 802.11ax standard and has a built-in support for Bluetooth 5.0. The sound is of course Realtek's solution with a couple of stereo speakers that sound honestly unimpressive. On the line of connectors on the left edge, there is one for external power brick, one HDMI, one USB-A 3.1 first gen, and USB-C 3.2 second gen with Thunderbolt 4 support and transfer rate of 40 gigabits per second. This port is also used to charge the laptop as well as connect the DisplayPort monitors via USB-C. On the opposite side, there is another 5 gigabit per second USB-A 3.2, a Kitsync unlock, and a 3.5mm combined headphone and microphone input, as well as a pair of LEDs that indicate device activity and charging. Interestingly, the device comes with 2 power adapters, one with a custom connector that looks like a mobile phone charger, and other one that looks like a classic notebook brick charger and uses a USB-C interface, with both of them being able to deliver 65 watt of power. Now, it is also worth mentioning that this device comes with the Windows 10 Home operating system pre-installed. Since the 11th generation of the Intel Core processors has long been announced as sort of a response to a successful AMD APU processors, especially Renoir models and now even better Cezanne, we could not wait to see how it would measure up. Let's take a look at the performance charts together. Our overall performance impressions were mixed. For example, in Adobe Photoshop, where Intel traditionally does well, the result is on a level of the best models because of a single core performance, high frequency, and less GPU acceleration impact. However, in the Premiere Pro 2020, it barely passed the bar because the power of the graphics core is extensively used during export, especially in H.264 and H.265 formats, which may be a potential use of this computer, mainly for home video editing and Full HD resolution. The situation is no better in the CPU-specific tests. In direct comparison with the rivals of the AMD Ryzen Renoir U series, it is at the level of the Ryzen 5 4500U 6-core model, but also visibly weaker than the 4800U 8-core APU processor. Gaming performance is solid if you keep in mind that this laptop belongs in a class of lightweight, ultra-portable models, which implies slightly more modest gaming capabilities. This means that with the reduced detail level, you can play your Battle Royale titles on a lower limit of frame rate requirements for smooth animation. We were able to achieve 70 FPS on low settings while playing Fortnite at 1080p, but don't even think about epic details because it gets painfully slow as the FPS drops to 15 frames per second. When it comes to watching videos, the resource load is minimal in Full HD resolution, whether it's H.264 or H.265, VP9 or AV1 formats. The CPU and GPU video encoder are employed with only 10% of the resources. 4K is slightly more demanding with minimal CPU usage, while the GPU takes over the job of hardware decoding with 33% of the resource engagement. The temperature of the device primarily depends on what kind of tasks you're performing on it. While playing games, it is warmest in the 40-ish degrees Celsius in the center part of the keyboard, while on the ventilation openings in the right half of the screen, the temperature goes all the way almost to 50 degrees. In those moments, the device consumes the most, 65 watts of electricity. During normal operations and applications or while watching video, the temperature is significantly lower with an average of 26 to 30 degrees Celsius and a consumption of only 10 watts. The battery life is great since we were able to get 5 hours and 15 minutes of use, and it takes only an hour and 10 minutes to charge the battery. This performance was achieved while using the screen at 80% of the brightness and the balanced operating profile, when the computer delivers 78% of the performance compared to when it's connected to the charger. The Acer Book RS with the Porsche Design Studio signature is definitely something new and different on the laptop market. It is not as stiff looking as many of the business models, but has a bit that sport rawness, enough to win you over with its different character and charm. Now the performance is on the level of the best ultra-portable models. I honestly expected a little more in the regard from the model with the Racing Sport label, which may be inadequate for the ultra-efficient and easily portable model. The price is high, but not excessive considering that everything that bears the Porsche label is not for the average consumer, but for those who are willing to pay for design, quality, and performance. The Acer Book RS i7 model we've tested costs around 2,000 to 2,100 euros, or roughly around 2,500 US dollars. That price also includes all the Porsche accessories that come with it, which are alone worth about $400, so it's easy to calculate how much an actual laptop costs. The price is reasonable, but only for those who want a notebook that will make them stand out among the users of predominantly MacBook-looking laptops. Thank you for watching another Bench House review. You were watching our review of the Porsche Acer Book RS i7 that zoomed full speed through our studio. Share us your thought in the comment section below and support us by leaving a like on our video. If you would like to see more tech reviews, consider also subscribing to our channel for more videos. My name is Marco, and I will see you next time.